is bracing for the impact during this government shutdown. 42 million Americans. 42 million, that's a lot, that are on SNAP and receiving some type of government benefits. Food assistance gone for 42 million Americans. That's what's at stake right now. So understand, this thing is a lot bigger than what you know. And everybody is saying a judge, right now they're going in front of a judge to try to supersede Donald Trump and his plans to basically starve out Americans to get his way. He want those 60 votes. Oh my goodness, this is crazy.
This afternoon, as millions of Americans are preparing to lose government food assistance, a federal judge now says she may intervene to compel the Trump administration into using emergency funds to keep the SNAP program open. If not, 42 million Americans will begin to lose their benefits starting on Saturday.
It is day 30 of the government shutdown, and as the pain sets in for so many, lawmakers are scrambling. Today, Republican leaders are blasting Democrats' push for a partial reopening. Here's what House Speaker Mike Johnson told CNN today.
If you deviate from the goal of reopening the entire government, Chuck Schumer and the radicals over there will continue to play games with people's paychecks, their livelihoods. And if you do just part of this, it will reduce the pressure for them to do all of it, to do their basic job, and that is reopen the government. This is very real and very serious, and they can end it today.
CNN's Renee Marsh and Danny Freeman are following all of this for us. Renee, what more is the judge saying in this effort to keep SNAP money flowing?
Right, so there's this pot of more than $5 billion in emergency funds just sitting at the USDA. And the Trump administration said in court today that the agency was prohibited from tapping into those emergency funds to keep the assistance benefits flowing to those 42 million Americans who rely on it. The Trump administration's lawyers also said that the agency didn't want to use those funds. And the judge really pressed them pretty hard on this, asking where in the law does it prohibit using these funds to prevent the suspension of SNAP benefits, which, by the way, SNAP benefits have never been suspended or reduced before. But the administration's lawyers struggled to really give a clear and even convincing reason for why they needed to suspend these benefits. The judge at one point was so confused by the administration's arguments that she said, quote, "Congress has put money in an emergency fund for an emergency, and it's hard for me to understand how this isn't an emergency when there's no money and a lot of people are needing their SNAP benefits." And that really was a key moment. The judge indicated that she may ask the agency to explore reducing benefits because of the dwindling amount of available funds, as opposed to stopping the benefits altogether.
And let that sink in. Let that sink in, people. Now, everybody can have their opinions about, yeah, they need to get out and get a job. All the opinions you can have. You're entitled to them. These are your opinions, your thoughts, your beliefs. Go at it. Have at it. Here's the biggest problem on the horizon. At the end of the day, are you ready to deal with 42 million Americans not having money for food? Are you ready for that? You know what that's going to look like for you? Oh, what you think you're going to, just because you're not in that area, it's not going to affect you? Oh, that's what you think. You think all the people who get SNAP and government assistance is all people that's black and live in the ghetto. Oh, you in for a rude awakening, buddy. Because there are a lot of white people who get those benefits. Yeah. white people, and Hispanic. It's a lot of them that receive SNAP benefits. Minnesota is one of the largest government-assisted places in the world. Well, in the United States for sure. And Minnesota, nobody telling them to run out and get a job, right? Why do you think that is? Why nobody's coming at us saying, hey, go get you a job? No vitriol for them. Nope. Business as usual. Typical, right? Now, this comes the part I love, right? I love how they try to make us feel as if we don't know what's going on. Like we can't see it. No matter if you're Democrat or Republican, it affects both of you. It's gonna affect every single body. That's right. While the Republicans like, yeah, that's it, cut them off. Cut off the aid so we're wasting our tax-paying dollars. No, I'm okay with my tax-paying dollars go to keeping people in their zones. Because here's the thing. Those 42 million Americans, if they don't get those benefits, and you're sitting in your area, living it up, you got all the access to your funds to go shopping, buy this, buy that. You're just having all the food, all the love, luxury, and they're supposed to just sit in their neighborhoods and just starve. What do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna come to where you are. They're gonna come to where it's plush with food, plush with all the jobs and resources. How do you think they got out here in the first place? Because they just wanted to hang out here? No. They came out this way because this is where the jobs were. There were no jobs out there. All of the jobs were out here. So what they do, they took 2 buses and 2 trains to come all the way out here to go to work and take 2 buses and 2 trains to go back home. Now, with that being said, everybody's looking for who to blame. We need somebody to blame. Well, we have $5 billion in emergency funds. $5 billion sitting there. And while the government is shut down, the government and their regime, which is Donald Trump, all he has to do is approve it, and you will get your $5 billion. Well, not the whole $5 billion, but you will get funds. If he really cared about the 42 million people that's not going to get any funds, all he got to do is approve the emergency funds. They were in court right now saying, no, we don't think this is an emergency. So they don't think this is an emergency enough. So if you're looking for somebody to blame, the blame is right there. They already telling you We don't want to do it. So the judge is stepping in to probably override the president of the United States and his regime because they don't want to do it. So you can tell who wants this and who doesn't. Now I've been hearing that they want to use the money to give out to the immigrants, or they want to keep the immigrants. They want to go back to implementing where the immigrants got the benefits and giving them money. Did it keep the government funds for those people with SNAP in their areas? Because believe me, if they don't have SNAP and you got the jobs, the food, and the resources out in your little bougie area, guess who's gonna start popping up over there? The people that don't have food and jobs. And guess what? They got all the guns. So they're gonna come out here and just start taking your food out your refrigerator, taking your jewelry, and then they'll take it right back to the hood. And then just keep coming over here, keep robbing you, and going right back to the hood. Do you want that kind of world? You want a post-apocalyptic type of world? Okay, because it ain't all blacks. You're going to see white folks doing it. You're going to see everybody. So when I say get ready, because it's getting real, it's already been real. Everything's up to you. I always say that this is the part I love, because every politician will tell you every lie that comes to their head, but the policy and what's being actually stated does not lie. You can tell who don't want something in the way they are acting and moving towards it. When you're in court arguing that 42 million people needing benefits is not an emergency, and you have $5 billion there, while you guys try to get the country back open, you don't want to use the emergency funds that has $5 billion in it. Then what is an emergency? Because believe me, it's an emergency for you. You better recognize it's an emergency, because it's damn sure an emergency for you. No, from what I've been hearing, it's entirely different. What I've been hearing is multiple displays of affection people who need these benefits because they have medical conditions. So a lot of people that have medical conditions, hey, and those benefits, they have to have certain foods for them because they might have a thyroid condition, a diabetic condition. It's a lot of people that's not just African American. They love to put anything bad that happened in the world on black people or people of color when everybody have these benefits. But we're the face of everything bad. See what they're trying to do? They sabotaging the live stream, the whole nine. I listen to both sides, so I hear and see everything. I don't know, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I'm somebody who's listening to both sides and assessing it clearly. Now, saying why the government isn't open, well, that's up for debate. But to tell me that they can't use no parts of the $5 billion that we have to keep people with food, and we got Americans, black Americans, who are saying and talking as if this is a good thing. Like, yeah, you know, cut them off. Shoot, they got to get out and work like I do. Well, for some people, it just wasn't that simple. They taking advantage of it. Sure, if you want to say that they need to improve the SNAP program, it goes two ways. That's fine. You want the SNAP and you wanted the SNAP program to improve? Cool. Start putting jobs into the community. Are you providing jobs for the community? Are you trying to give back to that community to keep it thriving? No? Oh, okay. So you're not trying to give jobs over there for them to work, but you're telling them to go get a job. Okay. Sound a little hypocritical to me, but okay, I get it. They just need to go and get a job. They need to get off welfare. They need to just magically do all these things. Okay. And you know what somebody else will say? I did it. I was in the neighborhood. Look at me. I came out all right. And that's part of the problem. Well, isn't it? You always have somebody tell you how things worked out for them over someone else. I came out all right. Look at me. Do you know everybody don't grow up in your situations? Not everybody have the advantages. They might grow up in a household where it was nothing but crackheads in their family. They didn't have a chance. Forced into gangs at an early age. Drugs getting sold out the house. Mom dead, daddy dead, mom in jail, coming home, living with grandma. You don't understand what somebody could be going through. So, to justify you doing whatever the hell it is that you want to do and trying to shame them in the process, it makes you look like someone who doesn't understand the problem. And if you don't understand the problem, you'll never get to the solution. Sure, we all wish that everybody can get a job. You think just everybody on Section 8 housing don't want to get a job? It's not the facts. You think they just said, they woke up one day and said, hey, you know what? I don't like work. I want to get paid for free. If somebody told you you get this much money for free and get groceries, your ass probably wouldn't work either. But me being in both environments, I've seen with my own eyes. There weren't any thriving jobs for teenagers, even when I was growing up. We had to go out to certain areas. My first paying job, where I got my first paycheck, was at a restaurant doing fast food. And I never worked fast food again, thank God. But I had to go out of my neighborhood, take a bus, and take another bus just to get to work. So I had to take 2 buses to get to work. On Stony Island, 71st and Stony. Now I think they turned the place into a bank. But the narratives never change. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand that. Oh, my mother would love these trees. She loved this time of year. Trees of these colors. Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, all of these different things are transpiring. All of the fingers are getting pointed. People are looking around, looking crazy at each other. And one of the main things that jump off the page at you. Why? Why is all this happening? I'm serious. Because they do not spend the resources and put them back into the community. They don't have a thriving environment. They have no recreational center in their neighborhoods. Where I stay out here, every corner has a trading and code center for kids. They got a bike path. They have a video game center where all they can do is go in there and video game, and they get to meet and interact with other kids from other areas. They got a sky zone. They just go in there and jump on trampolines with other kids. They get to meet each other, and that way you might meet friends. And you know what that does? It keeps down on conflict. But the only way they see each other is when they join a gang, because there ain't nothing for them to do outside. They got no recreation. They got no gym to go to. All they know is violence. It's all that's been around them. So they see somebody from another block they don't know. It's automatic conflict because there's no recreation center or a meeting ground for them. When I was coming up, we had something like that. Look at the beautiful tree. Now, we had something like that growing up. We would go out and play football, and we played against the other blocks and the other neighborhoods. It'd be our block versus their block. We used to go to the next door neighbor. If we saw that there was a kid over there, we go over there, ring that bell, ding doong, come on out. We playing football. And the one kid, I don't want to play football. And his mother made him play. That's how it was. His mother made him play. Hey, how you doing? Because we were active. We were outside doing these activities, not getting in trouble. But still, jobs, not in our neighborhood. We had to go out to get jobs. My second job was even further. My third job was even further. Fourth job, even further. Till it didn't make sense for me to be in the city no more. It's like, why am I in the city and I gotta drive all the way out here? I gotta spend an hour and a half just to get to work driving. I might as well move out here. I'm giving up all my money on gas. And that became the norm. That became the condition. You're gonna move somewhere closer to your job because you're spending so much money on gas. So now you're out of that area now, where you grew up, your neighborhoods, you're out closer to where you work. And guess what? You ain't the only one. Others are doing it. And because of the job market, Mr. Republican men, I want y'all to pay attention to this, as well as the Democrats, but mostly the Republican men who are in denial. Y'all need to understand this, okay? SNAP benefits are in your high-risk suburban areas. They accept SNAP. See, in your super rich, privileged areas that you live in, they accept these benefits. They do, and they love it. They accept all of it. Not some of it, not a part of it. All of it is accepted. You know why? Because of the job market. Job market is low. You think these people out here all are living it up? No. There, a lot of them are struggling to maintain. A lot of houses are going up for sale, even around here, because the insurance is going sky high. These houses are like $600,000, $700,000 a house. Now, it's selling cheaper than that. Everything is coming in at a cheaper rate than it normally would come in. Okay? So here's the news. Everything that has been applied, invested, revested, all of the narratives, it's for naught. How important is it to you that someone follows your work? How important is it for you to have security? How important is it for you, for your children? A lot of these people are trying to put their kids through college in this environment, in this climate. And they got blinders on to what's happening around the world. Your kids got to go out into this world. What you think? Your kid's gonna have an automatic job waiting for them? Unless you got an investment plan and a smart one, all of that money will be gone. Retirement, pension funds, okay. Till you burn through that, which is bound to happen. You be dead before you get a chance to spend it. Times have changed, but the game has not. Nobody is caring anymore. Now the Democrats, well, they've had a surplus of ignoring the people that vote for them, ignoring their needs by doing grand gestures. But the people that vote for them are stupid enough to not know how to go about asking. They just continue with the same process over and over again, thinking, don't worry, it'll get better. Nah, it won't. The cycle of hate, the cycle of never surrendering, the cycle of despair is always going to be on the front landscape of the table. Now, the main question that's going to hit the horizon is, how much are you willing to endure, and how much are they willing to say it's on you? Because that's the only thing that I see here that's on the table. Everything else is uncivilized. I just don't understand how people who never really been in that situation can make decisions for people in those situations. And they don't identify. They just compare it to their life, knowing that no one grows up the same way. We all don't. Some people grow up with advantages in their life. I can only imagine what my life would be like if I didn't grow up with my family around me. How my views would be different. Morals and standards probably wouldn't be there. So, like I said, this is a consensus of how things should operate moving forward. Society has put us on a scale where we're battling and fighting each other. And for what? Doesn't seem like we need it. There have been several different corporations that have come through with projects trying to get funded so they can bring jobs into the community. Turned down by Congress, turned down by the state, turned down by the Senate. So you had Republicans and Democrats both shooting down bills to help the people of the 42 million get employment, to try to reduce those numbers. But you know why? They don't want those jobs over there, and they'll rather have them on SNAP. You think the Republicans don't want them to have the SNAP? They don't want all of them to have it. But they know they need them to have SNAP. The Democrats know the Republicans need them to have the SNAP. This is going to look really bad on them when they want to try to keep the Senate and the House together when you're messing with their money and their funds and their food. But bigger than that is they need them, because once they get that, they're going to shop. They're going to get that money and they're going to go. And that keeps the grocery stores making money. Can you imagine what these grocery store chains will look like? They'll have to shut their doors. They make a killing on the 1st and 15th. Them shopping carts are filled to the limit. I never seen so much unnecessary stuff bought. I thought it was a free food giveaway. I'm like, what's going on in here? I seen 8 family packs of Capri Suns, hot dogs. Good Lord, they buying like in bulk. And then it's another guy with a car. He just telling her what to get. Yeah, get that. And remember them snacks I like? Yeah, grab them. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Yeah, you talk about not making sense. That didn't make a lot of it. But if you get the ideals of what they're trying to do and what they're trying to implement, it's quite simple. People will always surprise you, because in an instance, they would change just like that. Because how the economy is so bad, they need these people spending. So they give them the money. That's why they buy the Gucci bags. They're buying all this stuff to keep the economy going. Who have the most unnecessary shit in the world? Poor people. They buy shit they don't even use or need. And then they're poor. And they're buying the Air Jordans. They're buying the Louis bags. $200 for a Gucci belt. It's like, what the fuck? Where are you getting this money from? You broke. They need them shopping. Poor people have poor habits. Poor is a state of mind. So you have poor habits to go along with all of the decisions and all of the things that you're doing. Well, these scenarios are put in place for a reason. Well, here's the thing. People with means, they don't shop that like that. They don't shop that recklessly. Because one, they're not going to be buying all that sugary food. The people with means, they buy meaningful foods. Saying, yes, we're going to have this, we'll do this, we're going to go our best, we're going to go to the food market and get the right tomatoes. They're going to make sure they're eating right. They're not going to grab the sugar pops. They're not going to grab the high C fruit punch drinks. They're not going to get all the fun glucose syrupy drinks that y'all like so much. That stuff is out of here. 86 gone. And you know why it's gone? What happens to those companies that making all those drinks? They're going to stop making them. They're going to have to shut their warehouses down. So the people that own these companies, they're losing out on millions and millions of dollars. That can't happen. So they pitch it to poor people. And you give them the government benefits to keep them spending the money, buying the stuff you want them to have. Sugar drink, sugar drink, sugar drink. Lifetime supply of sugar. So don't let them fool you. It's just like the immigrants coming over here. Man, we got to stop all the immigrants. We got to close the borders. Close them. But you're not going to close them, are you? You could seal the borders if you wanted to. If you really cared, that was the thing that you really cared about. As I stated before, 73% of the illegal immigrants that are in this country work for $7 or less. 73%. That's a lot of. They work for $7 or less. Now, if you don't want them to come over here and work these jobs, then by all means, you find somebody. Come on, Mr. Die-Hard American. You love America. You get out there and you work for $7 an hour. You're going to say, oh, fuck that. I ain't doing that. So now they talking about, like, well, we get these prisoners to do it. Let them go out there and work for $7 an hour. That'll be a raise. Because, hell, illegal immigrants get paid more than prisoners. Prisoners working, getting $4 an hour. Some places $3 something an hour, working on license plates and stuff. So now you're going to get them to do all the farming work. Sure, put some ex-cons on the farm so they can just say, F this, go into the house, hold a man hostage. Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, 100%. Buddy, there have been illegal immigrants in this country for years. And then you know these same conservative men that's talking about they gotta go. They have warehouses for their corporations that they have nothing but illegals working there. All in Texas, too, by the way. That's how they're getting away with having an American-based company with cheap labor. Paying these people less than $7 an hour to work in these warehouses. And they know they're illegal. So what does it mean? Well, it means the same thing, Gene. These scenarios don't escape us. They shape us. They make us who we are today. Well, people should know. They should be aware of what is happening around the world. That it's all foolery. I'm not saying Democrat millionaires aren't doing it also. They're all doing it. They all benefit from the same tax codes. Donald Trump clothing line, made in China. All those washing machines you got, made in Taiwan. They're made in all different places. Whirlpool was not American. Nope. They were somewhere in Indonesia making our washing machines that we're buying. So start thinking smarter while you're trying to hate other countries for no reason because other people are telling you this is the way to do it and this is the thing to do. Because it isn't the thing to do. Hey, so it isn't the thing to do. No, it's never been that way. See, the problem is simple. The thing is, focus on what you can do to make the country better. But they don't want to do that because neither one will want to sacrifice losing wages and paying out too much. Hell, they let our whole water supply get sabotaged. Who cares who gets sick? It's less costly. Let's dump poisonous waste into the damn water. Because we need all special kind of paint coloring on cars. Sick. But it's all about what we need, what we like. Damn, who gets hurt in the process. Damn, who can't understand it. Sugar and salt. 2 killers. I worked at a warehouse that did just that. Was hiring people they knew were illegal, and then when they got caught, they paid a fine, and they did it again, and then they do it again, and then they do it again, and the person just kept coming back with new IDs. The only person that was legal over there was probably about 4 or 5 of us. Everybody else, illegal than them all. Nobody cared. Nobody said, get these illegals out of here. They didn't care because they were getting the work done. It was less costly, and they were getting the work done. That's all that mattered. No, there's so many different people who don't have the elements of things together. So it was like, forget it. They didn't care. The majority of those people just didn't care about a lot of anything. That's because the narratives are different. You know, normally when the narratives change to that position, you start seeing people do what's best for them. The Republicans are fighting for their position, to keep the House, to keep the Senate, right? So they need the 60 votes that they need to be able to say, okay, let's open the government back up. Right now they got like 54 votes, so they're missing like 6 votes. But Trump told the Republicans, don't even deal with the Democrats. So how you supposed to get 6 votes? You need 6 Democrats to come over to make the deal work. So you realize that you all have to work together. So if you tell one side, don't even deal with them, don't even bother with them, now you need them for votes. How stupid is that? Unless you want a government shutdown. Now you realize there's going to be major problems for the Republicans now, because the insurance is going to go sky high, and this is going to affect rich conservative white folk. They're going to start to look at your ass, and you're going to be, oh no, come on, we got to get those votes. Now 60 votes means something. I told people who was all excited about the stock, I was like, that's only going to be beneficial if this is a short government shutdown. And I said, I don't think this one's going to be short. So just be leery that you might get hammered early. And those numbers are going to dip. And they have. And I'm like, you're going to be paying for it. So I'm like, get ready for this January the 2nd, because all hell going to break loose. And as predicted, all hell is broken loose. The bags are getting much smaller. Revenues is not being justified by the means. People are scraping and struggling to try to pay health for their kids. Because if you got kids, you got to have medical. They're paying right now $5,000 on braces. Now that's going to go up to $8,000 for braces. That's a damn car. The world has always been indifferent, but it's how you handle it dictates normally how people come out on the other side. So seeing all of that on the table normally is the balance and power between the two. That's how governing is done. Nobody wins. That's what a compromise is. Both sides have to lose. You're not going to get your way all the time. Trump needs to realize that. But he's not a politician. He just thinks he can bully people into submission, and it doesn't work that way. So now he's claiming that with all these tariffs that they got in place, now he's saying with all these tariffs that they got in place, well, there are a lot of illegals in California, New Mexico, Texas, I wonder why. Arizona. Because damn, at one point, all of that was Mexico. They didn't call it illegals back then. They just called it home. But nevertheless, they need their work. So for all these Americans, let me see you go out there and want to work those $7 an hour jobs. Then you can tell these immigrants, okay, well, we working these jobs so y'all can get out the country. Now, the Democrats are bringing in these people because the brothers are acting like, hey, we ain't voting for y'all. It's like, all right, cool. They're going to bring in some other people to replace y'all. Yeah, in 3-4 years, these immigrants that they brought in over here will be able to vote. And who you think they're going to vote for? The Democrats will control the House, the Senate, the presidency. So I know the major fear. But we're spending $20 billion in Argentina? Why? What are we doing over there that requires $20 billion to be spent? I don't hear people talk about this at all. Like, why do we need to spend $20 billion in Argentina? Who we paying? Manu Ginobili? What the hell going on over here? Yeah. Well, it's all about who's in the know, right? You have some people that know and some people that don't. It's the nature of this, man. This is how they move, how they operate, how people stay in business. You either have people that's on board or they'll show you why they're not. They don't stop, it don't change. People collectively get put in these select situations. Then it's on them to ride it out. Mm-hmm. Well, when people come across other people who are very intense or negligent to their duties, they run into a situation where other people just don't love them, I guess. But if you're looking for a politician to love you, good luck. Obama love us. Michelle Obama love us. Trump love us. Good luck. I don't need your love. I need you to do something about these policies that's prohibiting me. Need you to push some of these programs to help benefit our youth, not use us for props. Don't post no little black kid with cancer. Don't give him a junior G-man badge while you cutting the benefits for cancer research. Because now that's like really playing in people's face. So definitely go to the Patreon. We told you what told you about the NBA player who had his kid kidnapped, and you ain't know anything about it. That's on the Patreon right now, with a gallon of other things. So hopefully you guys like it, love it, and I'm out. Deuces.